I don't think studs up matters because the FIFA rule doesn't mention studs up.
No.
A red card is excessive.
Yes.
A yellow card is reckless. It was certainly reckless.
It was reckless.
Without a doubt, it was reckless. Which is why he got a yellow. But I don't know if it was excessive.
I don't think it was excessive. He was going after the ball.
Yeah.
And it was timing.
He was clearly making a play on the ball.
Yeah.
He missed the ball, but he was clearly trying to play the ball.
Yeah, he wasn't going after the player. You know, red cards usually you're going after the player.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're going after the player.
Yeah.
You know?
This is perfect actually. I mean, I didn't watch it live, and the way you're describing it, it's textbook yellow. If that's what's, if he was going for the ball, but he was late. It wasn't reckless.
Yeah, and
Like
I've been following soccer for 18 years now.
Yeah.
And I've never understood where that red or that studs up thing came from.
I've never,
because is that something that has just kind of evolved along the way that if you're going in flat or feet up, basically,
yes,
it's highly unlikely that you're actually trying to make a play on the ball. I just don't get it.
I have a problem with that too. I think it's just take a slide out here in the grass.
Yeah.
It's going to be natural to have your feet kind of pointed up.
I mean, I can see if it's both feet up.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you just got one foot that's kind of coming in, studs up, I just don't get it.
Yeah. I could see if it was a kung fu kick to the head.
Yeah.
That sounds like.
Or De Jong's kick to the chest back in the World Cup.
Yep.
Or like
that's
a headbutt.
Or Zidane's headbutt.
Yeah. Zidane's head. Let's not bring up Zidane's head.
No, just had to say it.
That was a bad.
Yeah, I don't understand where that came from, and I think it ruins the game because, as you pointed out, Dave, it's natural to have your feet, the soles of your feet to go up.
It would be unnatural not to, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I thought it was reckless.
Yeah.
I don't think it was excessive.
Yes.
Mike Petke disagrees with us.
Well,
and he had a tirade. Did he not? I mean, we were sitting there watching the game. He had a tirade.
He had a tirade, yes.
And he got himself kicked out.
Yep.
And Adrian Heath actually had to talk to him as they're like pulling him away.
Yes.
And I don't know what he said. And I saw someone asked Adrian what he said, and he wouldn't comment. But it's like when you have to have the other manager come over and be like, whatever he said, and just go.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a problem. So, the presser afterwards, obviously Adrian already had his meltdown that we've talked about. Mike Petke has another meltdown.
Yes.
It was explicit, language-laden.
Yes.
And he literally told, what's his name, a Goose, I think his name is, for MLS, who divvies out the fines.
Yeah.
He literally told him, fine me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, MLS listened.
Yep.
They fined him $10,000.
Yes.
And suspended 2 games.
2 games, yes.
And on top of that, they even fined the team $10,000.
What?
Because
I didn't know they'd find the team too.
Yeah, because their official Twitter page tweeted out a whole bunch of support for Petke. And MLS is like, no, that's not okay.
Who is their social media manager? He's in trouble.
Yeah. I hope he gets his paid off. Now, with that said, I think he has some valid points. His main gripe was the fact that no one knows what's actually happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
When it comes to the VAR.
Yeah.
And I agree with that because you see the referee go like this, so you know he's trying to hear somebody talk to him.
Yeah.
And then he just lets it go.
Yeah.
So I do believe there needs to be some of that conversation that I think Petke is right on. We need to be talking about how we can make the VAR process better.
Yeah.
With that said, we're walking down a road of NFL referees where all of a sudden you've got a referee standing in the middle of the field talking to the audience.
But we don't want that.
Right.
Because soccer's different. You have time is running constantly. When you go to VAR, you're taking time off the clock. Yeah, you're going to add extra minutes at the end of a half.
Right.
But you're taking time off the clock. Whereas NFL, they stop it.
Right.
It could be 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason. I mean, there's calls whether you're talking soccer, you're talking football. Some of those calls are subjective. You just can't get past that. So I don't think they should be spending too much time VAR on those subjective calls.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I think it's beneficial for the ref. He can go back if he can take a look at it in 30 seconds. If maybe he didn't get a good look at it, he wasn't in a good position. If it's something, even if it is a subjective call, if he can get a good look at it and make his call, take a look at it 30 seconds, and let's move on.
Now, I would say that I would be open to the referee talking to the manager, the managers.
Sure.
Like maybe he's already doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So he can just walk over to the touch line and say, "Hey, this is what's happening."
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. They also have the ability for the press to ask questions to the referee, but they have to get it in prior to 10 minutes before the end of the game. And the media is usually, it's the worst time.
Yeah, it's the worst
because
time,
the media is trying to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
And I think they need to fix that. I agree with Petke on that. I think it's just something that needs to be fixed. Now, the problem with Petke was he was bitching about things that didn't really go for him.
Yeah.
The Quintero foul was not a foul.
Yeah.
Questionable whether or not Schuler was a red card.
Yeah.
And he had some other fouls, apparently, that he had mentioned, where there were some fouls that went the wrong way for Minnesota too. And it's like, we're talking about consistency, sure.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with MLS refs is they're a little bit too likely to actually call a foul.
Yes.
They don't let the play go as well as European referees do.
And we're going to talk about in the next game, the New England game. That's what we're going to talk about too, because that game, that ref was handing out yellow cards like they were candy.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was like anything that happened on the pitch, it was like yellow. It was like, holy jeez, man. So let's go to the friendly that we had.
One thing before we move on, Tony. I just want like one thing, and it kind of comes off Heath's, kind of tirade to the, very public tirade that we were talking about earlier. I think we all agreed that we backed him up, although it's my opinion, I don't think he should be complaining too much, really. Because I think the game that they had against Real Salt Lake is just one of the reasons that, makes this United team so fun to watch. And you brought this up to us earlier. I don't think we talked about it on the pod, but how the Guardian came out with an article maybe about a month ago.
Yeah.
And they actually rated the watchability of all the MLS teams. Mm-hmm. And the Loons were rated eighth out of all the teams, and I think that's exactly the reason. In that game they scored 3 goals, and they're always susceptible of giving up goals. And when you get a game that goes 3-2, that's an exciting game to watch.
They have been an exciting team to watch all year.
And if it was your first soccer game or first MLS game, let's say, wouldn't that be exciting to watch?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're trying to sell a product here, like a new MLS team to this city.
Yeah.
A new stadium coming out next year, you probably want those kind of games, don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
and it's fun to have a back and forth game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the park the bus counter here and there, and we've kind of fallen into that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's fun to see your team win, 3-2. But at the same time, it's actually not that bad to see your team lose 3-2.
Yeah.
If it was an exciting back and forth game.
Yeah, exactly right.
And so I think there is a positive to that. Obviously, it's really exciting to see your team win 4-0.
Well, yeah, there's an excitement to it. It's exciting to watch your team win 4-0. It's also exciting to watch your team be up 3-0 and then watch the team come back. And then have to hold on. As much as we get ticked off that it's happening, it's still exciting to watch.
You nailed it, though. I think a 3. I started with the 3-2 scoreline. Sounds like a fun score. I would rather have it go United goal, Salt Lake goal, mm-hmm. United goal, Salt Lake goal. But when it's frustrating because you have a 3-goal lead and you very nearly gave up 2 points.
Yeah. We do have. I will mention this. We have an audience today. We do have 3 people listening to us. And now they've written something down on a napkin and given it to Dave Sterling. And what does it say, Dave?
It's a question that's very specific to me.
Yeah.
If you're not a big fan of parking the bus why are you a Chelsea fan?
Wow. Ouch.
Out of left field, I didn't see this one coming.
That's what happens when you have an audience. You get these questions.
But you got to answer it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a valid question.
Are you going to answer it, or are you just going to drink some more beer?
Or you're just going to say it's a valid
I'm gonna
question?
say valid
question,
Should we
that's
just move
it?
on?
Yeah,
Then maybe
yeah.
we should just move on.
Yeah.
We can.
No, it's a valid question. I like the team. I have not always liked the managers.
Okay. You have
Is that a fair response?
We'll see what happens next year.
Right, it's going to be completely different.
Whole new thing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So that's my response. Because really, I have no response other than that. That's
So just for background, I'm taking it you're not Chelsea fans.
No, unfortunately, we're Arsenal fans.
Arsenal, okay.
which honestly, really brief side note.
Yes.
If I were to be able to pick a U.S. manager, I want Wenger.
Okay.
I don't like Arsenal, but I do like Wenger.
Okay.
Mainly because he made Arsenal so mediocre over the years
Oh, jeez.
that,
Shots fired on the podcast.
Mediocre
My
to get us
goodness.
the World Cup.
Wow. This-
So before we go on to the friendly,
yes. Yeah.
even though we were going to go on to the friendly already, I want to talk the defense in
Okay.
that game,
Okay.
just very briefly.
In the friendly or are we back
In
now?
the
The
Salt
Salt
Lake.
Lake,
game.
okay.
I think the goals come down to mental mistakes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The free kick, Plata's free kick, it's all on Martin. Martin completely blew it. His whole role was to charge forward and block the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Even better, they took an extra touch,
Yep.
which allowed him better chance to set himself up,
Yep.
and he still blew it.
Yes, he did.
And not only that, he managed to jump and then rotate himself away from the shot.
Yep.
And so for me, I think in that sense, Heath was a little out of line because that was a set piece
Yep.
that obviously we've had a ton of problems with, but the goal happened because of one player.
One player, yes,
literally
yes.
just one player.
Yes.
And then you look at that second goal, that was a complete shutdown. And this is where I say Adrian Heath is right on par, because you had the entire defense was shifted to our right, our right, their left.
Yep.
And you had Gomez,
Let's not.
Who-
We don't want to talk about Gomez.
who is probably not a favorite of the. We're probably not a favorite of his.
I don't
if
want
he's
to talk.
ever
I
heard
don't
us
even
talk.
bring. Let's not even use his name when we bring him up.
But so you had Calvo way left, marking someone. So he was where he should be,
Yep.
and the man who shall not be named is
Yeah.
kind of just wandering through the center of the pitch.
Like a kid in Target, just walking
Yes,
around.
he's just kinda
like,
wandering around.
What's going on?
And Lennon is coming down the field,
Yeah.
and I believe it was Rushnak came in, crossed it over to him,
Yeah.
and who shall not be named,
Yes.
instead of closing him down, kind of just ran towards the corner of the box,
Yep.
expecting that Lennon was going to run towards the corner of the box. I
Yeah.
guess?
That's what he did. Yeah.
And it allowed Lennon to cross it back over
Yes.
to Plata.
Yes.
Now, the problem here is you have Kelman and Boxall at the center of the box covering one guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly not communicating because why are they both on this guy?
Yeah.
And so it leaves Plata wide open for only Miguel Ibarra to handle.
And yeah.
And had Boxall just backed off,
Yep.
he maybe could have headed it away.
But let's go back to player that we're not going to name. It's all set up by him, though. If he doesn't make those stupid decisions,
Right.
we're not talking about a goal here.
Right. And he's going to come up when we talk New England.
Yeah.
So
I don't. Why is he still on this team? That's my question.
he may not be, sir. We'll have to find out.
Well, I hope he
Yeah.
at some point is benched or something. I just can't. I can't watch him.
Yeah.
Every time he gets the ball, I can't watch the guy. infuriates me every time he touches the ball.
Well, hold on, Tony. I have a different opinion. I think he's a very dynamic player who's an incredible server of the ball in set pieces.
Are you reading that from the